I'm always interested in like when the click was for somebody, because for some people it's really easy early on. Some people it's one particular moment. My husband was it wasn't for me who talked about it all the time. It was when he rode his bicycle. He was out of town doing a play in Louisville, Kentucky, and he was riding his bicycle back and forth from the apartment complex to the rehearsal, and he had to ride his bike by the slaughter yards, by the cattle
Oh,
yards. And that was for him the moment. So how was it for you?
wow. Well, for me, like I said, I didn't want anything to do with it. And Tommy wanted me as a helper. He wanted me to help him open gates, help him bale hay, help him mend fences, help him feed the cows. And I was always very resistant. And so what he did one day is he came home and he pulled on my heartstrings, Maggie, because I could never have kids of my own. And I wanted kids and I never could have them. And so Tommy came home and said there was these two little baby calves that needed a mama.
Mm.
And I was like, well, what are you telling me that for? He said, well, I just thought you might want to buy them and take care of them, and let them, just nurture them. And I was like, oh, yeah, I want to go see them. So anyway, I went and saw them, and there was two of them. Bobo died very young. She had a failure to thrive, never got her colostrum. But the other one was Rowdy Girl. And what happened is little Rowdy Girl came bouncing towards me with this little white heart right in the middle of her head, little bitty scrawny thing. And she was just jumping all up and down, kicking her heels. And I said, well, aren't you a little rowdy girl? And that name stuck. And she became the reason that I got up in the morning. She became the reason that I went out in the evening, I just loved going out and feeding her. So what I once didn't want to do at all, I started doing it because I had this bond nurturing that I was nurturing with this baby calf, and she became like a child to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't a vegan. I was a cattle rancher's wife. And so when I would feed little Rowdy Girl, she would just suck on that bottle, I don't know if you've ever fed a baby calf or not, but she would just suck on that bottle, and then when she was sucking on it, I would look out into the rest of the herd and I would be in a trance. And I started seeing them all one by one. She fed me like an etheric message. I'm a very spiritual girl. I've studied a lot of spirituality. I talk about it all in the book. But I began to sense there was something happening to me through Rowdy Girl, because what I used to see was a whole herd, and I started seeing individuals. And I started naming them. And I started noticing that they had babysitters. I started noticing personalities. And I always loved animals, but I never considered loving an animal that I ate.
Mm.
And so she broke me into a space that's considered taboo in the cattle ranching world. You're not supposed to go into that space where you have feelings for the animals that you eat. And so I started having feelings for them, and Tommy and I started having some very difficult conversations.
Wow, that is a really beautiful story. And I can really imagine what those conversations were like, which I know you talk about in the book.